The following is a production of the Lance J Radio Network and Best in the World Sports, a division of Definitive Visions Multimedia. The opinions and views expressed are strictly those of the host and do not represent the views of Lance J Radio Network.
You're listening to Jonesy and Brown
Both you are crazy.
with Mike Jones and John Brown.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the world famous Jonesy and Brown show. My name is John Brown. By my side is my partner in crime, my main man, Mike Jones. What's good, brother?
Oh man, I'm just happy to be here,
It's a good time in sports, good time in Philly sports. Eagles undefeated going into the game with the Tampa Bay Bucs. Phillies are wrapping up their season before they start playoffs. As of right now, when we record this show, there are 3 games left in the regular season. They find themselves 2 games behind the Brewers for the best record in the National League. Phillies play the Twins this weekend. Brewers play the Cincinnati Reds. So we will see where that is when we reconvene next week. You excited about playoff baseball?
I will be when it starts. Here's the thing.
Now, when you say when it starts for the Phillies or when it starts together?
Both. But see, here's the thing right now for me.
Mm-hmm.
This year's Phillies team, they seem to be a little different, but we'll see. The lineup.
What do you mean when you say they seem to be a little bit different?
Well, this year the lineup seems to, at post-trade deadline, the lineup appears to be deeper, longer, where in previous years they were, after you got past 4 or 5 in the lineup, there was a noticeable fall off in the ability at the plate. And you couple that with the fact that the guys at the top 4 or 5 spots in the lineup seem to all be hot at the same time or all be cold at the same time. And it was a recipe for disaster. Or I shouldn't say disaster, because they did have some decent runs. A World Series run, an NLCS, then the DS. They've got, but that's the other thing. It's gotten progressively worse every year.
Yeah.
And they all seem to go cold every year, same time. That's just what happened. So,
and that seems all, and for fans our age, that's all too familiar because that's kind of like that last good Phillies team. That's how their run went. Won the World Series, lost the World Series. Lost in the LCS, lost in the NLDS.
But that's the difference.
So,
well, see, here's the thing. Well, in 2007, they made the playoffs and then worked up to a win in 2008.
Yeah.
And they got the World Series win in 2008. And then there was another appearance in the World Series. That 2008, that team that was, that team that had that run from 2007 to 11 culminated in an actual championship. So they had currency that they could deal with through those later years.
They bought themselves. That championship bought themselves some grace. Yeah.
Right. This team doesn't have
themselves some grace. Yeah, no, that is true, and I think it bought them some grace, and I think they made subsequent moves in the seasons following that World Series that at least showed the fans that they were serious and that they wanted to be contenders. Now there were some things that did not work out, but you were going into each season, you were confident. And you wanted to see where things went. I think this season, there was a little bit of frustration because I'm not sure people felt like the Phillies did enough from the end of last season to the start of this season to make the team and make this roster better.
From the end of last
However,
season, from the end of last season to the start of this season, they didn't do anything beyond signing Max Kepler, who had a very disappointing first half of the year.
mm-hmm.
So to say they didn't do enough is an overstatement. They didn't do anything.
Mm-hmm.
They just ran it back.
How did you feel about them running it back?
You're running it back with a team that didn't win. How am I supposed to feel?
No, I understand.
You don't win. You don't win. You're supposed to try to get better.
Yeah. No, I understand. And do you feel, because you are like me, you're a 4-for-4 guy, correct?
Mm-hmm.
4-for-4 guy. So you saw, when you go into a baseball season, sometimes your excitement level is kind of is affected by how whatever current team is playing. We were pretty frustrated with the Sixers going into baseball season. When March and April came around and baseball season was started, by then the Sixers were cooked. They may not have been mathematically eliminated, but the Sixers were cooked.
That doesn't affect me. I look at every team every season. I look at every team every season independently. The Phillies could make a World Series run. The Eagles could be undefeated. And come October, when basketball season starts, I'm going to look at you and say the Sixers stink. I'm not going to have hope for the Sixers because the Phillies won or the Eagles are good.
But I think that we were frustrated with the Sixers. And then you see the Phillies run it back with a team that did not win.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, that's what I mean. My frustration from the Sixers, for me at least,
you're saying
it didn't blend into the other. I have my frustration. I have enough frustration with each of their teams on their own that I don't have to blur them together.
No, I understand. Well, that's mighty mature of you because my frustration all blurs together. I was pissed off. I was pissed off at the Sixers and the Phillies come around and they're running it back and I'm like,
you were mad at the Sixers because you didn't want to listen to me at the start of last basketball season when I told you they stunk. They weren't going to win anything, and I checked out. I listed to you all the reasons why they wouldn't win anything, which is exactly what happened because it was very predictable. So I had no hopes for that season. You were mad.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't mad. I knew they were bad from the start.
I hate the "I told you so" Mike Jones. Okay. No, you are right where that is concerned. I went into the 76ers season with a little bit of hope, with a glimmer of hope. I thought hopefully, I did not have it in me to be down on the 76ers for the whole season. I said this. I said, I don't have it in me to be angry for 82 games.
Right.
Now, granted, so by the time I was truly finally had reached my peak, and so, you know what? I am now down on the Sixers.
Yeah. By the time you got there, I was over.
Yeah, you were over. I was, I was pretty down. And so, with that being said, when the Phillies came around, I'm not going to say I was necessarily down or checked out on the Phillies, but my expectations weren't too high.
Right. At the start of the season, I thought the Phillies team would be good, looking at probably another 88 to 93 type win season somewhere in there. It's a good roster. It's a talented roster. But as constructed, they've shown a propensity to all go cold at the same times, often in the playoffs. So as long as they look the same, I was going to expect the same thing. Not a team full of bums. No, they were going to win a lot of regular season games. I just didn't know that they were a team that had the makeup to get it done in the playoffs because of what they had shown me the last 3-4 years.
Well, since the trade deadline when they brought in Bader, has that changed significantly?
The addition of Bader, Max Kepler seeming to find a way to come alive, Marsh getting back healthy, Bohm getting back healthy. The lineup actually has been performing top to bottom. You don't get past the fifth hitter and say, oh, these are 4 easy outs anymore. They're putting up runs even after the loss of Wheeler, even with Trey Turner out. They're still winning games. The pitching's been good. I feel noticeably more confident in this team than I did prior to the trade deadline. But it's still, you're going to have to show me you guys will make it through the playoffs and the bats don't just disappear again. You've got to show me that. You know,
well, I think it's starting to look more and more like the Mets aren't going to make the playoffs at all.
They're the Mets. But again, we're talking about
which is a good thing.
We're talking about they had their little run last year that happens every once in a while when you have one of the highest payrolls in the sport. But generally speaking, Mets are going to do Met things.
Yeah, that is true. They do. Mets are going to Met every year. Yeah.
Mets you're the guy who tells me the Browns are going to Brown. So why shouldn't we expect the Phillies to Philly?
So you think the Phillies are going to Philly this year?
No. What I'm saying is, prior to the trade deadline and the conversation we were just having, when you bring back the same group of guys that have come up short and gone cold the last 3 years, why would we expect anything different? So they got to show me.
So if
I'm rooting for them.
If that happens, of course you're rooting for them. I mean, I know you are not one of those type of people that invites, welcomes, cheers on eventual failure. You know, you might see a result happening, thinking it's going to happen, predict it's going to happen, but it's not like you're hoping it happens.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, that's not you. You know, you want it to be different. You hope that it's going to be different. But let me ask you, if in fact you are correct and it's not different, is this winter there needs to be significant changes?
Well, you won't really have much choice if this is it doesn't go through this year. You're going to look at you got to see this year. You got a couple contracts that are expiring. You're going to have decisions to make about guys in the minor leagues that need to come up at some point. So the roster will definitely look different in some form next year, regardless of whether or not they win it or not. Losing raises the odds of it being very different.
I will say this, for the sake of peace in the Brown house, the Phillies absolutely need to bring back Kyle Schwarber at any price. My wife will be angry. Even though I have nothing to do with it, she will be angry with me if the Phillies let Kyle Schwarber leave.
Well, you say at any
My house
price.
will be in disarray.
People say baseball, there's no salary cap, spend whatever. The luxury tax.
There's no salary. There's no salary cap, but these owners got pocket.
Let me finish. No, it's not that deep. You can't just throw money away. It's a business. They're not in it to lose money. Salary cap or not, they're not in it to lose money. So we'll just say throw money. That's not a realistic thing. You've got $200-300 million guys on this roster already. You know, you've got a couple like who is it? Bohm, you're gonna have to figure out what you're doing with him. Schwarber, are you really about to make him another $50 million a year guy when you're already paying Trey Turner, you're already paying Bryce Harper? That's the kind of he's having a career year. He's in 50 home run territory. He's even if it's only 3-4 years, he's going to get north of $40 million a year. Are you willing to do that when you already have these high-priced guys on the roster? You've got high-priced pitching. At some point, you can't keep doing it. Like,
right.
Middleton's rich, but you're not the Yankees or the Dodgers money type rich. There are limits to it. So I know we like to say, "Oh, baseball is no salary cap, keep spending." And then you the ownership, the front office, they're not going to run the team into a hole, into the ground, just throwing money at any and everybody.
Look, I don't want the team. I don't want the front office to run the team into a hole. I'm just asking the front office, don't run my marriage into a hole by sending Kyle Schwarber out the door and messing things up with me and my wife, who is a huge Kyle Schwarber fan. I need peace in my house. I need that. Please. I understand you got to be responsible. I understand that. That's why I co-host the show. My wife does not co-host a sports podcast, so she don't need to be reasonable. She doesn't need that type of common sense. We don't need that.
But that's what I mean. Like, second team like Cincinnati comes in and offers Kyle Schwarber $48 million a year for 4 years. What are you going to do?
I would totally.
They don't.
What am I going to do?
What are the Phillies going to do? Like this, a team like the Reds, they're his hometown team, and they don't have a bunch of big contracts. They could throw money at a guy for 2-3 years and be able to eat that. It's a different situation in Philly. The Reds are nowhere near the luxury tax. The Phillies are up there. So, I mean, there is a world where it's very feasible, very possible that Schwarber leaves. More reason why they need to capitalize on this run right here in front of them right now. You want to make it hard for Schwarber to leave? Win. That's what makes it hard for Schwarber to leave. You win.
Yeah. No, you were right about that. And we'll talk. We will definitely talk a lot more Phillies when we know who they're facing. It looks like I think they got the bye sold. The bye is sold up, correct? So they got some time. Hopefully Schwarber gets that record this weekend. I would love to see that. I hope the Phillies bring Ryan Howard into town. Let him come on the field. Let him have that moment. If he breaks the record, bring Ryan Howard on the field. Like, you remember when Jimmy Rollins broke its record for the Phillies? Schmitty was in town. They had the moment, raised his hand in victory, passing the torch. I want to see that for home runs in the season.
Well, I mean, it'd be nice, but with only 3 games left, I don't know.
3.
Like, they're watching it, but it's not like it's something where it's like, if it's a month left or even 3-4 weeks left, it's kind of an inevitability. So you kind of know, all right, let's prepare for this. 3 games left. It's like, maybe, maybe not. How much budget do we want to blow on something that's not going to happen?
Look, like I don't know how much everyday ties Ryan Howard has to this area now. I mean, he's in good standings with the organization. I'm pretty sure he doesn't live in the area. But it's a weekend in Philly. We got 3 games. You don't have to follow the team. You got 3 games Sunday. If it does not happen Sunday, you're going home. Don't worry about it. We'll see. We'll definitely see. Jones, do you see me right now? Right?
Nice,
you see,
but
yeah. I would love to see that happen. Switching gears. Jones, do you see me right now? Can you see the outfit that I have on.
Mm-hmm. I see.
We record the show we're recording the show today on a Friday. I have a routine. Usually on Friday during football season, the Friday before game day, I wear my Eagles gear to work. It's pretty much how I've been doing it for years. I will make an exception during the playoffs if the Phillies have a Friday game. The Phillies play a Friday playoff game. I will wear Phillies that Friday instead of Eagles. And if the Eagles play on a Thursday or a Monday, I will wear my Eagles gear on game day. I'll wear it on Thursday if they play Thursday, Monday if they play on Monday. And Friday is just out, Friday is just open season. But I was asked by a coworker that I like a lot, my good friend, Jennifer Frederick. She asked me to put on white for Penn State this Friday. He said, go against, I know what you normally do, but I want you to put on the white for Penn State this weekend. So I said, okay, you know what? All right. I will make an exception. So I did it. I went against tradition. I went against what I normally do. I broke my normal routine, and today I wore white to work. White is always a struggle for me because I wear white and I like to drink coffee. And sometimes when I do the two things at the same time, they inevitably meet. I was able to keep coffee off my shirt. I was able to keep my breakfast off my shirt. And I did. Now, Penn State and the Eagles both lose on Sunday. I completely will come back on this show next week and blame Jennifer Frederick. I'm letting you know that. But I did it. That being said, big football weekend this weekend. Got Penn State and Oregon. Got Eagles and Bucs. Where you want to go first?
So, I'll be honest. I don't really want to talk about the Penn State game.
Okay.
I don't really want to talk about the Penn State game.
Your name is on the show. We can go wherever you want to go, bro. We don't have to talk about Penn State.
There was an Eagles and Rams game last week.
Yeah.
I will talk about that a little bit. We haven't talked since then.
Mm-hmm.
And a couple things about that game were really interesting. Let's see. First half, the offense was pathetic. It was genuinely, literally pathetic.
Mm-hmm.
There was little to no creativity. Saquon could not find any space, largely due to the fact that the offense wouldn't push the ball further than 2 yards down the field in the passing game, resulting in -1 passing yards total at halftime. One of the worst things I've ever seen and completely unacceptable from an offense with this level of talent.
Mm-hmm.
Second half, they look like an extremely talented team. I dare say almost a well-oiled machine that was virtually unstoppable. They looked like their talent level in the second half. I don't know what clicked. I don't know what they figured out, but they have to be a balanced team for this thing to work. We all know, we've seen it. Yeah, Jalen Hurts isn't the guy you necessarily want throwing 40 times a game, but you don't want him throwing 15 times a game either.
Mm-hmm.
The opponent has to actually respect the threat of run and pass on both plays to get the full effect of this team. And we actually saw that in the second half. They put up, 26 straight points after being down 26-7 and it winning 33-27. So the offense put up 26 straight, but the defense also didn't give up any more points after being down 29-7. But it's also amazing what the defense can do when they're playing with long fields because you're actually kicking the ball off instead of punting. So here's my question for you, JB. Jalen Carter takes Jared versus Chain. You got Kyron Williams talking about, I hate the Eagles. The Eagles just beat them for the third time in a row. You think it's actually starting to be a point where the Eagles are in the Rams' heads and the Rams don't think they can beat the Eagles anymore?
I definitely think that is part of it, especially when you look at how they beat them when it was 26-7. That was as close to
they were about
what
to
else is on TV. Yeah, that was as close to what else is on TV as the Eagles have been in a while.
And then to come back and win that game the way they won it, multiple block kicks, all of it, it's got to be starting to affect the Rams mentally.
I think it is, and I think it is something. It speaks to it really. That win really speaks to something that you and I have talked about both on this show and privately in the past, where you saw the people that Howie brought in to be playmakers making plays.
Oh, we'll get to
and
that.
And sometimes
we'll get there.
But no, hold on. Let me.
Maybe I'm somewhere right now. Hold on. We'll get there. Because I asked you that question for a reason. Because 2 weeks ago, before the Chiefs game, when I told you a regular season win against the Chiefs that kept the Eagles from losing to the Chiefs 3 times in a row was big for their confidence, so they wouldn't end up in that spot where the Rams are right now, where the Chiefs are right now, having lost 3 times in a row to the Eagles, and where people are questioning, can the Eagles beat the Bucs because they think the Bucs have the Eagles number. You argued with me that game didn't matter. This is the opposite side of that coin because the Eagles are on the winning side of it. When we're doing it to people, it demoralizes them. That was why I said that win against the Chiefs in the regular season 2 years ago was important because it kept this from happening to us.
Okay.
So, I just wanted to make
I'm just saying.
Seeing how the Rams reacted to this game, it lets us see like that stuff actually does affect players' mentalities.
It does, and I am going to give my response without a full grasp of what the Eagles' mentality was after the last time they lost to the Bucs. Because that was two years ago.
Lost to the Bucs.
Whereas I think the Bucs. I'm talking about the Bucs. I'm trying to make a comparison here.
Okay.
Whereas, like with the Chiefs, and you talk about demoralizing and how they feel having lost 3 straight. Because now you're talking about 3 straight losses in over the course of 3 straight seasons. They beat them in the Super Bowl. Then they won
the regular season win was
following
first.
Year in the
regular season was first. They lost in the Super Bowl.
No, didn't they lose?
They lost in the Super Bowl. Then they won during that
the Eagles lost
stretch before the Eagles lost in the Super Bowl in 22.
Yes.
And then the Eagles won that regular season game in 23.
Yes.
And then they won the Super Bowl.
We're on the same page, yes.
Okay,
yes.
yeah. Okay.
So regular season, well, the 3 wins is regular season, Super Bowl, this regular season.
Right.
Yes. But what I'm saying is that happened over the course of the last couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas now that last loss to the Bucs, that was a couple of seasons. No. What happened? They played the Bucs last year, right?
Mm-hmm.
Who won that game?
Well.
Didn't go well. Didn't go well. Well, then I think, and
that's where the questions come up. Does Todd and it's not that now with the Bucs, it's not with the Chiefs, they were a Super Bowl team, so they had that real mystique that you needed to knock off. The Bucs don't have that mystique, like, oh, they're just a better team. It just seems like Todd Bowles has the Eagles number. He knows what to dial up against them.
And that might be the case. Like I'm trying to think, because I see the point that you are making. I truly understand it, but I feel different about it. But I'm not quite sure if I'm doing a good job of articulating why I feel different about it.
All right. So this is where I say, like, the Bucs situation, like, so where the Rams are right now, the Eagles are the team with that mystique. They just won the Super Bowl. They've been to 2 in the last 3 years. They dominated the playoffs last year. They're the bully of the league. They're 3. So the Rams were trying to knock that mystique off the Eagles, thought they had it and couldn't do it. That will start to wear on you. That's where the Eagles were with the Chiefs a couple years ago when they got that first regular season win, because the Chiefs were the team with that mystique. The Bucs are in a different situation because the Eagles are the team with the mystique. It just kind of seems like a bad matchup. So that one feels a little bit different than where, like, the Rams are looking at the Eagles, or where the Eagles could have been looking at the Chiefs. You know? Like, sometimes you just got to knock that mystique off somebody. You got to know for yourself, oh, yeah, I can beat them.
Well, I think, honestly, it depends on if the Eagles were to lose. I think how they lose would play a part in it. Whereas I think with the Rams, as talented as the Rams are, if you look at that Rams roster and you look at the Eagles roster and you look at the way they won, let's just say the last 2 meetings. When you're talking about the playoffs, you're talking about this year. You're talking about them coming back from 26-7. Jalen Hurts playing an exceptional second half after the first that third quarter turnover.
To start the early,
from then on,
half, he took that hit.
Yeah, he took that hit and turned the ball over. And honestly, and maybe and you can expound on this if you'd like to. You know, the decision to go from Matt Pryor to Fred Johnson.
Oh, that was
solidified that line.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Matt Pryor was getting roasted over there at that right tackle spot.
And once they were able to solidify.
Yeah, Johnson,
once
nobody's Lane Johnson, but Freddie, he lived up to the Johnson name. He did his job.
Yeah. Yeah. But and you look at win the game, having opportunities to win the game, but the Eagles playmakers stop them. You're looking at 2 possessions where they could have kicked a field goal to put themselves ahead, and they were blocked by the 2 first-round picks that the Eagles had put on their defensive line. You look at how that playoff game ended with the 2 big stops for losses by Jalen Carter. To me, that's part of what's demoralizing.
Absolutely, I agree with you. But for that stuff to happen, you got to get the win. If all those plays happen, but the Rams somehow found some miracle way to win, it's not demoralizing.
Yeah, no,
And that's all I'm
No,
saying.
no,
We're
no,
on the
you're
same page.
yeah,
But
no,
I'm just saying, like, it
yes,
starts
we
with the
are.
win-loss thing. Of course, how it
Mhm.
happens
Yes,
matters. I'll
and
never
I
argue
think,
that with you. But I'm just
mhm.
saying where it
And
starts with
I
is you
think that's
got to get
yeah.
that win in there.
And that's not to say that the Bucs are without a superstar. The Bucs are without major talent. But if you're sitting there and you have a chance to win, and then you're watching their star player go out and win a game for the other team, I feel like yes, that is demoralizing. So I feel like I'm I'm angry if Baker Mayfield comes in and tears things up. That would piss me off.
I'm more angry
But
if
if
our
they
offense reverts to the first 2.5 weeks of this season. That will make me angry.
Mhm.
A close game comes down to one or two miscues. All right. I'm disappointed. Probably not going to go undefeated this year. If our offense goes back to looking like either we can't or just won't throw the ball, all Saquon up the middle, no creativity, what Drew Brees called the most boring offense in the league. And let's be real, it was for 2.5 weeks. If it goes back to that, yeah, I'm upset. If we saw what we saw in the second half against the Rams is real, and we just happened to lose a game, yeah, I'm not that upset.
Mhm. So but do you believe that mentality, that way of looking at things, that outlook? Do you feel like it differs from somebody who was actually playing in the game?
Playing in the
Like
game,
that's
you want to win
if
every game. If you're
yeah,
playing
of
in the
course.
game, you want to win every game. They're going to be mad
Mhm.
if they lose. I get the benefit of
But
sitting back and saying it's a
but will they?
17-game
But will
season and
yeah?
their goal
But
is to
will
go
they
out
be
there and win every game.
demoralized?
No,
Could you see a situation where the Eagles lose, but not be demoralized?
to the Bucs, yes. But that's where I mean, like the
Okay.
Bucs aren't that team that's sitting above them with that aura and mystique, like we're the team to
Mm-hmm.
beat. That's where I was saying it's the difference with the Rams looking up at the Eagles, or where the Eagles when the
Mm-hmm.
Chiefs were the champs, and we were looking up at them coming off a Super Bowl
Mm-hmm.
loss, trying to get to where they were. That's the
Mm-hmm.
difference. So the Bucs, like yeah, but they're the lesser team. They're not the team sitting on
Mm-hmm.
top, and we're trying to prove that we can knock them off. So that's where I see the difference with that situation. Because when the Eagles got that first win against the regular season win against the Chiefs were the defending Super Bowl champs. The Chiefs were the team that everybody's like, yo, we can't beat them. Nobody beats Mahomes in the playoffs unless they're Tom Brady.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's nobody beats Mahomes in the playoffs unless they're Tom Brady or Jalen Hurts. You see what I mean? Like
Mm-hmm.
that shifted
Yep.
now. So
Mm-hmm.
like
But,
the Eagles are that team with the aura now. And teams like the Rams and the 49ers are looking up like, or the Lions, can we knock them off? The Packers are
mm-hmm.
looking at the Eagles like, can we knock them off? Tampa Bay's
Mm-hmm.
never been sitting there in that seat where you're like, oh, we got to prove we can beat them. They're the measuring stick game. That's never been Tampa Bay's position. The Eagles, because of what they did last year, are now sitting in that position. So that's where
I think
that's where I would meant like beating the Chiefs was a big deal in the regular season because the Chiefs were sitting in that position that you wanted to get to. That's your measuring stick game. Okay, we can play with them. That will drive you going forward. You know you can compete with the big boys.
Mm-hmm. This is once again this is a measuring stick for the Bucs. So
yes, this is the measuring stick for the Bucs. Not for the Eagles.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah.
Last week against the Rams was a bigger game for the Eagles. Because the Rams were the team that gave us the closest game in the playoffs last year.
Mm-hmm.
So they're the team that's coming in thinking one little tweak, one little adjustment, we can get these guys. And when they do all that they did and still lose the way they did, can mess with you.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, maybe we just can't beat this team no matter what we do. You know?
No, I understand that. I think when you see a team, especially when you see a team make that ascension to the top of the mountain, and you know that they have at least the genetic makeup to stay at the top of the mountain for a while. And that was the Chiefs when they first
right.
Yes, I think that can be more demoralizing. Like when you have a veteran laden team and you know that, hey, at some point in time, guys are going to want to get paid, and you know that there are aspects outside of football that can bring a team back down to earth. I think the level of demoralization, if that is the right word. There are people who will correct me if I'm wrong, but you know what I'm trying to say. How that affects you differs. Whereas, I think what makes losing to the Eagles demoralizing to the Rams is because you're sitting there and you know that there were points in at least the last two games where the opportunity to win a game was right there in front of you, and someone from the other team snatched that away from you.
Right.
So you're looking at it as, not only can we not beat this team, but the reason why we can't beat this team isn't going away anytime soon.
I agree. But in the NFL, you never know when it's going away.
No, true. That is true.
All that you know is that where we are right now and where they are right now, we can't beat them. We haven't shown that we can beat them.
Yes. Yeah. And the problem is
confidence is everything in sports. That's it. Like, confidence is everything in sports. You approach a sport without the confidence, you're in trouble.
Yeah. I think and to that point, I think it is very, as a competitor, that's not what you want. That's not how you want to catch that team in front of you. Like you're not sitting there seriously hoping for, like, star player from another team gets injured or something like that. Something outside. Yeah, what I'm saying is, like, we can't predict the future. So, of course, there are no guarantees that, like, the Eagles are about to be on this historic run or whatever.
Right.
But you want to be able, if you're another team, you want to be able to beat them because you're better than them, because you outplay them.
Right.
And you're sitting there looking at a team.
Couple guy, not because they were missing their guy, because we went out there and beat them.
Yes. But you're sitting there and realistically, like, we just took an L. We took an L because Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis
can't do nothing with.
Yeah, they went out and blocked a punt. Blocked a field goal twice. I'm sitting there and I'm watching the game with my dad. You usually watch games with my dad, and we're at the end. We watched them, and you remember the final drive. They're now marching down the field and putting themselves into field goal position, and you're sitting there like, the comeback was nice. Yeah, they came back and took the lead, and you're sitting and you're almost ready to really, like, that win kind of took them off the hook for the first half and a drive of football. Yes, it deserves criticism. Yeah, it's going to catch its flack. But had they lost that game, what would the narrative would have been a whole lot worse.
Well, see, here's the thing that I'm not sure, because assuming everything else in the second half looked the same, and they just allowed that kick to go in, we still might be looking at it and saying, oh, they ran off a lot of points in a row. Their offense came together in the second half. They figured some things out. They just happened to lose. Winning that game does all of that. Plus, the Rams are like, oh, we just can't beat these dudes.
Mm-hmm. No, I think. But I
now,
think
if it had looked like the first half all game, we're starting to question ourselves. What's going on?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The fact that they were able to, because here's the thing, real quick. So the 2 games last year against the Rams, Saquon went crazy, 450 yards, about that combined in 2 games. This year they came out determined to slow down Saquon.
Saquon wasn't going to be one to beat him.
And they showed they're able to, oh, you want to do that? You can't stop our receivers either. You see what I mean? Like, and so like it was like the Chiefs 3 years ago. It was just like they had this thing was like, what do you do? Like, they have great receivers, they don't have great receivers. It doesn't matter. You just can't beat these guys. And then the Eagles beat them. Now look at the aura is off. People aren't scared of the Chiefs anymore.
No.
That's where the Eagles are right now. So right now, people are looking at the Eagles like, can we beat them? They got this O-line, they got this D-line, they got these linebackers, they got these young secondary guys, they got these
and they're cheating every play because the guards go outside.
Right. I mean, all of that.
Did you ever think
what's his name? Frankie
people say the refs for the Eagles
last year? Well, I'm sorry.
Say that again. I'm sorry. Repeat your last question. I didn't hear you.
Remember the kid Luvu for the Commanders last year?
Yeah.
The one who jumped. You don't think they were in his head when he just decides to jump over the line 4 times in a row because he knows he can't stop this play? He's demoralized. Yeah. He knows he can't stop
Chris
this.
Jones.
He's like,
Chris Jones for the Chiefs.
Right.
Chris Jones for the Chiefs.
I hate that play. Yeah. Because now we've beat the Chiefs 3 times in a row. So we went from they had a potential to beat us 3 times in a row to we got that first win, and now we beat them 3 times in a row. So like the whole narrative flipped. The Eagles are that team now. So yeah, Eagles aren't looking at anybody like that anymore. 2 years ago, everybody was not even. The Eagles aren't looking at anybody like that anymore. Nobody. 2 years ago, the Chiefs were the team that everybody looked at like that. So that was why I put that importance on that regular season win, because of the position the Chiefs were in at that point. You see what I'm? So yeah, not every game goes like that, but certain teams, certain times, those wins matter.
No, I hear you.
If we lose to the Bucs this week, so what? I'm not going to be like, oh, we have a mental block about the Bucs because they're not that team. You know, they just have a good defensive coach. I would like to see Jalen start to figure Todd Bowles' defense out. I would like to see that because he has traditionally looked great against the Bucs defense.
And I think that might be. I think if it looks like Jalen Hurts has figured out, if that's the way the game plays out, I think you will see a lot of emphasis put on coaching. In the aspect, look how they look. Jalen Hurts he has definitely improved. You know, the way he is able to lift his level of play in high priority games is there. Like the proof is in the pudding. But here's a defensive minded coach. Yep. But here you have a defensive minded coach who has been able to maintain a level of success against him. And here he is.
Game you may not think is a big game. You're 3-0. It's the Bucs. They're not really looked at as a major threat to you. They're missing Mike Evans. you may not think this is a big game. And the one question I've had about Hurts wasn't what he looks like at his ceiling, but how consistently plays at or near his ceiling. Big games, no question. He's go Super Bowl playoffs, he's ready. Well, except against the Bucs playoffs, but that's a whole other conversation.
Yeah. Well, that we'll cross that bridge when we get there. But I would love to see him come out and have a level of success. And maybe
that's the one thing I'm looking for this
week. Maybe this offensive coaching staff could be the staff that kind of helps him figure that out.
That's what I'm hoping to see this week. I do think the Eagles will win. I'm not giving any scores. We're off that. But
we don't do that no more. No. We're fairly consistent where that is concerned.
But I do expect the Eagles to win. But what I want to see, like we said, I want to see Hurts start to look like, okay, Todd Bowles, you're no different than anybody else. I can figure you out too. That's really one thing I want to see this week.
That would be a great monkey to get off the back. I would love to see that. I would love to see that. All right, Mike Jones, you said you are confident in the Eagles on Sunday.
Yeah, I think
you have a level of confidence.
Win. I think they go down to Tampa Bay and get the win. Yeah,
cool.
Only thing that concerns me a little bit is the health of the defense.
Yes,
Nolan Smith out. So,
yeah, wasn't expecting that. Nolan Smith out, but also I think Mike Evans is huge.
That's it.
Mike Evans is huge. That is huge.
Have Godwin and the rookie has been looking good for them. Abuka, I think his name is for Tampa Bay, the rookie receiver. He's been looking pretty good. The kid can play.
Yeah.
But Mike Evans is on the low, quietly, one of the best receivers of his generation. So him being out is a big deal for Tampa Bay's offense.
Would have loved to see another an Evans Mitchell matchup again. I thought that was entertaining.
Absolutely,
that was definitely that was entertaining. But hey, those things happen. A lot of football, a lot of sports going on this weekend. Like I said, Eagles, Bucs, Penn State, Oregon, and then you got the baseball wrapping up. So there's a lot to watch. Sixers preseason starts pretty soon.
So
what
Sixers sign a point guard
yet? Yeah. Kyle Lowry.
I thought he was doing analysis for Prime this year.
I thought so too, but there he was at media day with his uniform on, talking about his expectations for the season. I don't understand I don't understand the dynamic of that.
So yeah, unless he found the fountain of youth and can give unless Lowry found the fountain of youth and can give you 35 higher level minutes a game. Yeah, okay. I'll be looking forward to your analysis on Prime.
Jarrett McCain is hurt.
Tore something in his thumb working out, but he's not a point guard either. Him and Maxey are the same dude. They're shooters. They're scorers. That's like that offense looked so disjointed last year because you have a bunch of guys. Embiid's looking for his shot. Paul George is looking for his shot. Maxey's looking for his shot. Oubre's looking for his shot. The Rook was looking for his shot. And there's nobody to put it all together.
There's no facilitator.
So guys are just lost, don't know what to do. There's a reason I told I'm not talking Sixers today. I'm done. Close this out. I don't want to do this.
All right. All right. Hey. Oh, he took his whole headset off. Hey, look, man. You let us know what you think of today's show. You hit us up Facebook, Instagram, X, at Jonesy and Brown, or at BITW Sports. Remember, if you go to BITW Sports, if you go to BITWsports.com, you'll wherever you'll find a link to everywhere you find the Jonesy and Brown show. And make sure you check us out on the Lance J Radio Network on WHUR Voices. That is channel 141 on Sirius XM Radio. That show comes on 3 times a week, so make sure you check that out. Check out the boys Jonesy and Brown, and just hit us up and let us know how great of a job you think we're doing. Ladies and gentlemen, that is Mike Jones. I am John Brown. We out, man. Say goodbye, Mike. Peace, y'all.
This podcast is a production of Best in the World Sports, a division of Definitive Visions Multimedia. To subscribe, download, and follow on social media, go to bitwsports.com. You're listening to Jonesy and Brown.